Hey y'all, welcome to another edition of Stay Geek. So, got some more goodies to show you that I got in the mail, or I bought at a store, or I don't know, who knows where. This stuff just falls from the sky. Just falls from the sky. Just got this baby today, and this came to me by way of Amazon recommendations. Apparently, it has been out of print for some time. It's a movie that has a cult following. I've never heard of it until just a couple of weeks ago when it came up in my recommendations, and after reading the synopsis, they hooked me, and I pulled the trigger and bought it. And so it showed up in the mail. Name of the film on DVD is Moontrap. Bruce Campbell, Walter Koenig. That's right, Chekhov, and the guy from Evil Dead, and Bubba Hotep, and Burn Notice. So this supposedly has a cult following. It's a early 80s, I'm sure low budget affair. It's a Moontrap Anniversary Edition. I wasn't aware that there was a non-anniversary edition, but I'm sure there was. I have no knowledge of this. I don't remember this coming out in the theaters. I don't remember seeing it anywhere else before. Don't remember seeing it at Blockbuster. That was an old video store for you youngsters. Here's the synopsis. Moontrap, a 1980s cult movie phenomenon. Moontrap stars Bruce Campbell of the Evil Dead. Well, we all knew that. And Walter Koenig, Star Trek's original Chekhov. I like how they put that in there. Original Chekhov. Like, they got to tell people now that there is an original Chekhov. Sadly, Anton Yeltsin passed away in a tragic accident. He was a great Chekhov, too. So let's not dismiss him. R.I.P., you know? Anyway. Bruce and Walter, as astronauts sent to the moon to investigate evidence of what appears to be signs of human life. Ooh. They reanimate the body of a woman, played by Lee Lombardi, who I'm not familiar with, who warns them that the moon is under the control of a race of alien cyborgs, which have been awaiting the opportunity to stage their invasion of Earth. The humans realize that desperate measures must be taken to halt the cyborgs' departure from the moon, even if it ends in their own destruction. Recognized today as one of the most influential indie horror films of its decade, Moontrap is presented for the first time in its intended theatrical aspect ratio and original mono-aural soundtrack. It was remastered in HD by Olive Films in 2014, specifically for this release. Well, let's see. Moon, Chekhov, dude from Evil Dead, cyborgs wanting to invade the Earth. Sign me the hell up. I'm all in, baby. I'm all in. Let's see if we can. Oh, then we can frame him in the halo right there. Yeah. Yeah. The box says, for 14,000 years, it waited. All right. Well, I'm not waiting much longer to check this one out. That's all I got to say. Iron Man wallet. 20 bucks on Amazon. I couldn't resist. I needed a new wallet. I had a... Oh, rats. I wish it was here. So I had a Captain America wallet that I think I've had now since 2014. Now that I think about it, doesn't seem like that long, but anyway, it was a George Costanza wallet, if you know what I mean. About this big, but stretched out to be about that big. I just kept packing more into it, and that wallet literally for the last year and a half had one thread, just kind of keeping all the contents in it. I'm not going to show you my driver's license, but it had just like one thread right here that was just like everything else had just completely come apart. So this one seems a little smaller than my Captain America wallet. The Captain America wallet was cool because all it was is just a blue wallet, but it had the shield and it was embossed, you know. So it was a good piece of geekery, and you know, I took that wallet everywhere. Like I'd go to, you know, work conferences with it and whip it out at business lunches and stuff. I mean, you know, come on, what are you gonna do? So yeah, I like this wallet though. I don't know if it's gonna hold my fat stacks of cash when this channel makes a lot of money for me. That's a joke. So that's that. Last video I talked about volume 6 of All-Star Comics. This is volume 7. This is the volume 7 I was telling you about. Yeah, another pretty good cover where it's got the line up there. The dude with the lightning bolts shooting out of his head. I wasn't familiar with him, and I'm not entirely sure who he is. I'm thumbing through this now. It looks like he shows up here in an issue of the Atom, I think. No, in Johnny Thunder. I thought he was a villain though. It looks like maybe he is. But if you know, drop it in the comments. Let me know before I read this. Just thumbing through this edition. It's pretty cool. It's got this is the dude I'm referring to, the dude with the lightning bolts. But it's also got some of the editorial material that was originally published in these comics, and these were published, I think, during World War II. As I mentioned, the last volume had a lot of World War II oriented stories in them. This one here says the stories are the man from the future, Landor, whose super science seems like magic to his foes, the JSA. The next one is the JSA tricked by their nemesis Brainwave into becoming human guinea pigs. Some of that Brainwave was kind of a progenitor of Despero, right? Maybe? The secret of Willy Wonder and his terrible toys. The return of the Psycho Pirate. Okay, so, you know, Psycho Pirate is just, I mean, that's just a great villain name. I mean, you know, that should be a punk band, the Psycho Pirates. There might already be a punk band named that. But the Revenge of the Undead Monsters, Solomon Grundy. So how about that? Solomon Grundy. Now, question for you. Did Solomon Grundy first appear in JSA, or did he first appear in Batman? I don't know the answer to that question. So I am not a comics historian. I am a comics lover. And there's the cover where he appears. Looks like he's kind of checking them out in a crystal ball there. He's got him trapped in some spear of some sort. It's his revenge, so it's not his first appearance. Look how different he looks compared to how he appears today, or even appeared in the latter comics. So just a kind of compilation of the covers from this volume. So yeah, I'm about halfway through volume 6, but I'm looking forward to getting into this. Man, I wish I could find some more of these. Yeah, I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna be looking around. I mean, look, okay, check this out. Dr. Midnight. What's up with these folks? Are these like the original Coneheads? Yeah. And I love that. I love the Dr. Midnight logo there. All these old school logos are pretty rad. Yeah, here's some early Green Lantern. This is when he was a blonde pretty boy. You know? Not Hal Jordan. So or John Stewart, who was actually my favorite Green Lantern. Let's see what else we got here. I want to show off some more of these pages. Just this crazy retro, you know, superhero, sci-fi, mad scientist, evil villain stuff, man. Just priceless. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, we're gonna get into detailed analysis of these volumes. It's just not going to be, you know, my ugly mug all the time. We're going to have some actual proper comics that are in front of the camera and nothing else. So that's coming up. Let's see. Time for some tea. Star Wars mug. This is a good one. The story about this mug is it's hot, so gotta be careful. It's got kind of, I guess it says Star Wars in Japanese. I'm not sure, but anyway, it looks kind of novel. So I bought this at Forbidden Planet in London, England. I used to work for a company in London, and I would go there. And so on my weekends, which I had off, I would leave my small English flat Airbnb, and I would grab my backpack, and I would just basically walk all over the city, especially the central part of London. And I'd go across the Thames River and go check out like the Tate Modern Museum and the Big Eye and all that stuff around there. It's just, what an amazing city. Absolutely amazing city. Fantastic museums and so forth. But one of my main hits was Forbidden Planet, which is huge comic book store in London, and that's where I bought this mug. I filled up a backpack with a bunch of Judge Dredd and Eagle Comics and some hardcover volumes of Dan Dare. Who I'm a huge fan of Dan Dare, going back to when I was a kid. We'll probably look at some of those. And Rogue Trooper, which I wasn't familiar with until I was there and saw those, so I grabbed some of those. I think it's Rogue Trooper. Yeah. So that's where this mug came from. So it'll always remind me of that trip to London and to Fantastic Planet. One of the other things I recently got done reading, I love these Marvel Epic collections. The reproduction of the color in these, I think, is pretty decent. I don't know if they've been recolored or not from the originals, but you know, these are really nice volumes to collect. This is the return of Tony Stark. You see on this one, it's Iron Man and War Machine. I mean, when I saw that was like, yeah, I'm grabbing that. You know, I think the majority of this covers, I believe, the early 90s. The Iron Man floppies that were coming out in the early 90s. And the artist, I want to say, was okay, yeah, Kevin Hopgood, I think, penciled most of these, and I love the guy's work. I think he's very apropos for Iron Man. There's a nice spread. I mean, check out the gun, man. You know, that's what I want with Iron Man. I want, you know, bombastic, high tech, industrial. You know, did I show you the MODOK on that other page? Yeah, I mean, you know. And actually, that's not MODOK. That's it's a female version of MODOK. Modam. Yeah, that's her name, Modam. So, kind of a similar story to MODOK. You know, an employee of AIM who decides to just, you know, alter their body structure and enlarge their head to gain superior intelligence. So this was a great volume. The Iron Man is piloted remotely through most of it because Stark, he was in a coma, and then he's kind of like paraplegic, but he's figured out a way to pilot the Iron Man suit remotely through a brain Neuralink connection, which is something Elon Musk is working on right now. So, you know, hey man, most comics are ahead of their time. Let's see. Oh, here's some Don Heck spreads and Gene Colan. That's the Don Heck. Don Heck's also a great Iron Man artist. And then you got, you know, Gene Colan is, yeah, always a classic. Always good. So, real good stuff in these volumes, and I finished this one a few weeks ago. In the back of it too, there's also something that's not odd, but something novel. It's the Iron Man, or the Iron Manual, and most of the I think most of the work, who did this art? The cover was by Shikanich. I don't know who did the interior art, but it's all done in this sort of, interface style. So it's basically just walking through, in the voice of Tony Stark, all of the technology that he uses in Stark Labs regarding Iron Man, how he constructed the gloves. I mean, look at the font size, it's tiny. It's tiny. This was a hard read because the font size was so tiny. But just giving more more back matter to the whole Iron Man suit and Stark Labs, and adding more depth to the intellect of Tony Stark. So yeah, really cool volume. Those are hard to find at a discount. Those epic collections, they're usually going for MSRP wherever you find them, even on Amazon. Sometimes Amazon will have them marked down, maybe 10 or 20%, but most of the time they're hitting me full price on those, which is like 45 bucks. So I think I paid full price for this one, but I didn't get it on Amazon. I think I bought it in a in a comic store somewhere. I told you about this one last time. I finished it. It was good. All three of the stories were very compelling, and I thought worthy of being episodes in their own right, had the original series continued. I think it's a testament to John Byrne's ability as a writer. Most people know him of course of his art, which he is a fantastic artist, but as a writer, the dude just nails it on Star Trek. So looking forward to reading more of these volumes. This just came in the mail today along with Moontrap, or maybe it was yesterday. Anyway, I'm trying to up my manga quotient. Super Sentai Goringer, I think is how it's pronounced. So the scoop on these guys is and gals, they preceded the Power Rangers. Apparently the Sentai genre of manga and live action and anime is sort of I don't know what Goringer means, but I assume it may be referring to, like, super group of individuals perhaps, because that's what this genre is. It's it's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers thing. Group of people activate these suits and come together to battle evil. This came out, I think, in the late 70s, possibly. I don't know. I haven't done my research on this, but the artwork, which is typical for manga, is pretty cool. You see here we've got some giant mecha dinosaur action. I love kaiju, but I especially love mechanized kaiju. So Mecha Godzilla, Mecha Kong, let's do it. Let's get into it. And there's another good shot of the Mecha Dino. I don't know. I haven't even cracked this set. This is the first time I'm actually looking at this. You're seeing it for the first time, just like I am, unless you own it, and then yeah. So actually, I'm trying to find where's the group. Where are they? Maybe a action shot where they're maybe fighting or something. Let's see. Or maybe it's just the dino crushing the cities. So yeah, the artwork in here is really cool, though. I mean, most manga is, but here we go. Here's an action shot. There they are, springing into action. Love those clouds and that moon. Look at those lines. Man, the lines in manga are just they're just hitting different. Manga just hits different. All right, looking forward to getting into that. Another thing I got a couple weeks ago that I forgot to mention. the Incredible Herb Trimpe. I think that's how you pronounce his last name, or is it Trimpe? Trimpe or Trimpe? Anyway, I also finished recently reading one of the epic collections from Marvel of the Incredible Hulk. And it was a run that I think was from the early 70s. Some of them, I think I have them. I think I have some of the individual issues. Because I love that character, Doc Samson. He's such a good character, you know, and he was always chasing the Hulk, you know, like they pressed him into service. He's a genius. He's got the hots for Betty Ross. You know, he's the golden child, you know, Betty Ross's, you know, father, what's his name? You know, Ross Thunderbolt, you know, he thinks Doc Samson is just the bee's knees, you know, and so he tasked him with taking down the Hulk, with capturing him, you know. You know, that character is like, you know, he's not a villain, but he's not, you know, he's sort of, you know, he's one of these characters, he's not morally ambiguous, but, you know, he has well-defined motivations, let's put it that way. And he struggles with them, you know. He's one of these characters, he sometimes questions the morality of his decisions, and then other times he you know, maybe has a lack of empathy for Bruce Banner and for the Hulk in that situation. So, yeah, those issues are really good. And Herb Trimpe, you know, drew a lot of those issues, maybe most of them. So he had a good long run on the Hulk, and I'm trying to collect all of those, which is a tall order, because I think it might have run for, I don't know, 60, 70 issues. But some of the work that he did on the Hulk, especially early on, I think he was kind of aping Jack Kirby. When you look at some of the covers and you look at some of the work he did in that book, it's very Kirby-esque. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, you know, because Jack Kirby is awesome, you know. So I wouldn't say he was ripping him off, but certainly his style was influenced. And I wonder how much of Marvel editorial, you know, was maybe behind that. Like, you know, Herb, you know, it's got to be Kirby. It's got to look like Kirby, you know. But, you know, because it's clear he did kind of develop his own style later on. He apparently did a long run on the Shogun Warriors, which I remember collecting when I was a kid, and I am really foaming at the mouth because I know those are in my long boxes from the 80s. I don't know how many of them I collected, maybe only the first 7 of them, but I think there was a 32 issue run that he did, and I just want to see, you know, how he drew those massive giant Japanese Shogun warrior robots, you know, because he excelled at that kind of thing. He was perfect for the Hulk, and, you know, all the crazy villains that the Hulk fights. So give you just a little bit. This is the Rogues Gallery portion of the book that he did for the Hulk. You see here we got I think we get the Mandarin in this one. Yeah, there's some Mandarin. You can see sort of the Kirby-esque influence, definitely, in the face, in the technology, you know, which is fine, because I think Kirby matches up very well with the Hulk. Here we got, oh yeah, you know, the Abomination. And you got the classic, you know, jumping through the air. And there's Juggernaut. The Juggernaut in the upper right hand panel there, you know. And you got there's Doc Samson. I've got that issue, I believe. That's I don't know if that's the first time they tussled. I think it is. Yeah, issue 141. Take a look at that again. Yeah, Doc Samson is just a really cool character. You know, he's some more of that work. So he did a lot of other stuff here. Let's see, Khazar, Crypt of Shadows, Rawhide Kid. The Gremlin. There's some more of his work. You know, he's doing covers, he was doing interior art. I think he was maybe even inking some of his own stuff at some point. Yeah, he did I'd like to get my hands on this. Godzilla, co-starring Devil Dinosaur, the Jack Kirby creation. I'd like to get my hands on that. This issue of the Hulk is that battles the Warlock. I'd like to get my hands on that. So, yeah, just you know, just a really cool. Here's a Shield cover he did, a Nick Fury Shield cover. Silver Surfer. Really cool book. 157 pages. Has an index in the back of his art. Unfortunately, he passed away right around the time this book was published, I think in 2015. So, you know, he's no longer with us, no longer doing work, but spent a lot of time at Marvel. Then went on, I think, worked for some of the indies for a while. Might have done some work for Image, maybe, or IDW. Yeah, I'm a fan. So I began to start tracking down some of his work. And if you know where I can find a full run of Shogun Warriors, let me know. Reach out to me in the comments. I got a couple of comic book shops that I've told them to keep an eye out, because I'm looking to buy that full run. I think it's 32, maybe 37 issues. I think he does the full run. So I'd love to have all of those. All right, and that's about it. For now, who knows what's going to come next? I'm trying to think if I got anything else. 10 stops. Oh, I do. I actually do. So it might be on my doorstep right now. So Galaxy Express 999. Some of you may be familiar with that. You old schoolers. Old school anime from the late 70s. Matsumoto's Galaxy Express 999. So the guy that created Star Blazers, as we know them here in America, in Japan known as Space Battleship Yamato, also created Galaxy Express 999. It's about a little boy and his companion, Mattel, and the boy's name is, I forget his name. And they jump on a train that flies through interstellar space. You know, so that's a Japanese anime concept, if there ever was one. And they go on adventures, and the boy's trying to get to the mecha world because he wants a mecha body because he wants to live forever. So I mean, you can tease out all kinds of philosophical and metaphysical themes along the way, and they do. I've been watching the series. There's a series of it that premiered in Japan, I think also late 70s. I think it preceded the Galaxy Express movie. And man, I think it's 2 or 3 seasons, and you can catch it on Crunchyroll. With a subscription to Crunchyroll right now, you can catch it. I'm probably about 22 episodes into that. I was watching that during the pandemic, and it's really good. It's really cool. There's a certain, like a lot of, I think, anime, there's a certain romantic melodrama to it and a kind of bleakness to that universe. And I mean that almost literally. Have you ever noticed that, like, there's not a lot of people in anime? Like, the cities are always empty. And on this show, you know, they're going to all these different planets, and there's usually just like 2 or 3 people, you know, or it's some remote outpost, and there's maybe a handful of people, you know. I don't know what that, I don't know. That's something that's always intrigued me about anime. There's just not a lot of crowd scenes, you know? So anyway, it creates this sort of mood for the show and that carries over in the movie. I saw the movie when I was a kid, Galaxy Express 999. Excuse my voice here. It's pollen season. But I saw the movie when I was a kid. Saw it in the Dollar Theater on a Saturday afternoon. 2-screen movie theater in the town where I grew up in. And it blew me away. I was just, you know, and I was already, you know, a Star Wars fan and a Star Trek fan. Because I think the movie came out like in 78 or 79. Maybe even 1980. And it just blew me away. I was just overwhelmed by the imagination of the writing, the animation style, because, you know, I think it's the first time I'd ever seen anime. I hadn't seen Star Blazers yet on syndicated TV. I might have already seen Battle of the Planets, which is known as Gatchaman in Japan. I might have already seen that, but I'm not 100% certain. So it might have been my second introduction to anime. But it's just a fantastic movie as I recall it. I haven't seen the movie probably in about 20 years, I think. You know, so again, like I said, I've been watching the series. And then there was a follow-up series called The Galaxy Railways, which didn't focus on these characters, but on the group of people that manage the train. So Galaxy Express 999 isn't the only train. There's several others on several different cosmic lines. And so they did a show about them. And I found that full series on DVD, I think like 6 or 7 years ago at Dragon Con in Atlanta. And I think I watched like the first season or got into maybe the second season a little bit. And so I didn't finish it. So it bears a rewatching though. But the cool thing about Galaxy Express 999 is it was my first introduction to Captain Harlock, who appears in the film, and Queen Esmeralda, which are also two key figures in the Matsumoto Leiji, so-called Leijiverse. You know, they have their own respective mangas and animes as well that I've collected. So, but yeah, just, you know, being introduced to this guy, he's like this space pirate, and his spaceship like literally looks like it was built out of the skeleton of a old, you know, 17th century pirate ship, but it's got laser cannons on it, but it has sails, and he's up there, you know, with the big steering wheel, you know, the big wooden steering wheel, and it's just, I mean, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. And there's this massive space battle at the end. Yeah, it's just fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing that one again. You know, so that might be on my doorstep right now. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend checking